Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Indie Choice Picks. And today I am interviewing a very, I would say, interesting creator of a story. The name of the story is Super Harem. Basically, it's about a guy named Tim, and every woman he has sex with ends up gaining superpowers. So, if that's not interesting enough for you to take a look, I don't know what is. So, sit back and relax. Let me bring to you the creator of Super Harem. Enjoy. Hello, Matt. Thank you for coming on the show. It's a pleasure to meet you. Been following your Super Harem. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, you got it.
Nice. I've been following it for a while, and it seems like a pretty interesting, cool little concept. So I'm gonna open the floor up to you. Tell the audience who you are and what your story's about.
Well, I'm Matt Winger, and my comic is called Super Harem. It's a sexy comedy with like they used to make. You remember something about Mary, Road
Hmm.
Trip, American Pie, but
Yep.
it's a comic book. So there's also lots of cool superhero action fighting giant monsters.
Okay. Now I'm reading. Looked at your Indiegogo before the interview. The whole basis of it is that a guy named Tim has a bizarre power to give powers to women he has sex with.
Yeah, any woman that he has sex with gets these like generic Superman powers.
And is that permanent or is it like does it go away after like a few days?
Yeah, it'll wear off as they use them. So you get charged with so much of this power, and then it like runs out like Spawn.
Mm-hmm. Got you. So how'd you come up with this idea for that kind of concept? Could you
Uh,
let us know?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny. It just popped into my head, and I like simple ideas that are easy to explain. Like when you can easily explain what the comic is in one sentence, and then you know if you like it or not from that.
I got you. Cool, cool, cool. Is it just you working on this project or do you have a team?
Well, my artist is Joe Ball,
Okay.
and unfortunately, he is banned from Twitter now because he called Jim Carrey the R word. You can't call a celebrity the R word. You
Well, you
get
know
banned.
what? There's that whole thing going around Twitter right now. They're calling it the Vox adpocalypse, where a lot of people, with an incident from some guy from Vox, and I guess I don't know what it is altogether, but I've been following it, and now YouTube is starting to demonetize a lot of free speech channels, and honestly, I think that's horrible that people are getting censored
Well,
online.
this is what happened. So, are you familiar with Steven Crowder?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's his name, Steven Crowder. I love his
He's like
stuff.
a Yeah, he's a conservative comedian. So he did a video making fun of this guy Carlos Maza from Vox,
Hmm.
and the guy, okay, he makes a joke out of himself, like he's very effeminate, and he kind of plays off of that. So Stephen Crowder actually didn't say anything that this guy doesn't say about himself. So it's completely fake outrage. He's saying that it was homophobic attacks on him. He was being harassed, and it's caused this huge firestorm all over the internet now.
Yeah, I
Because
read it, and I just think that I know a lot of people who have actually come on the show who have YouTube channels where they're pretty openly conservative, and they're being demonetized like literally overnight. And I think that's just like some horrible stuff that people are being censored for no apparent reason, but speaking their opinion. I mean, that's what the internet's for.
well,
Honestly, go ahead.
I think this is going to backfire really badly for the people that want censorship, because they just announced that the FCC was going to look into seeing if it's true that conservatives are being unfairly censored on the internet. So they're looking at antitrust violations on YouTube and on Twitter and places like that. And
Yeah,
this is a very clear bias what's going on here,
it's a
because Nathan Crowder said is as bad as stuff that like big left wing comedians like Stephen Colbert say every night.
hmm. Yeah, and I know like other conservative people. I think a few weeks ago, like Milo Yiannopoulos got banned from Facebook. Alex Jones got banned from Facebook. It was a lot of kind of a mix, but a majority of the people who were banned were conservative. So it's like the end of days, where it just
Well, you can only have far left opinions. So
yeah.
there's actually people that are on the left that are getting banned now. They call it like these turfs,
Hmm.
the trans radical, or trans exclusionary radical feminists is what they are. They're called turfs, but they're pretty far to the left. They just don't recognize trans women as women. So now they're being censored.
Oh, that's horrible. But kind of getting off topic a little bit. I'm gonna have to do a live stream with all you guys on it because it seems like most of the people that I've had on the show have really strong conservative opinions about what's happening on in society every day. And I would love to have
Yeah.
you back on for like that live stream and just talk because it does affect the community of as far as comic book artists do too. Like people think, oh, we just sit around and draw. Like no, some of our stuff gets censored because of the stories that we like to tell, and people count it as, oh, it's hateful because you're not including this type of people and stuff like that. And it really affects our career in terms of people calling us hateful for writing hateful,
Yeah.
narratives for our comics and stuff. So stupid.
Well, free speech has always been something that is paramount to me. Like, that's the most important issue that I've ever had in my life. So
Hmm.
I'll always be on the side that's for free speech.
Oh, 100%. And I don't care if it's for the left or for the right. I
Yeah.
don't care if you're on the left, if you're on the right. If you get censored, I'm against that. Doesn't matter what your political views are. That's my.
Well, when I was growing up, for the free speech absolutism was on the left, and
Yeah.
now it's like completely topsy turvy. It's flipped around.
Yeah, that's the same. So, well, getting back to your story, is it I'm getting like this little manga vibe from this. Is it all black and white, all inked up like this, or is it
Well,
like
we do have a stretch goal that we're getting close to
okay?
to be in color, but currently it's black and white. But we have a colorist; he's very good, and I think that we're going to reach the stretch goal. We need to get to 12K by the end of June.
Are
And
you running also because this is the Indiegogo page? Are you running a Kickstarter right now?
I don't think I'll do a Kickstarter, no.
Okay, because you said
But
you guys are still trying to get the stretch goal. Where's the active campaign? Is this it?
well, we're in demand. We made
Oh,
our goal, and we made it to the end of our campaign, so we're in demand now.
oh, okay, okay. I see what you mean. So, okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so tell me a little bit about Tim. How did he get this power to give women superpowers?
Well, it gets into a little bit of the bigger world of superhero, and basically, it's like if Alex Jones was right about everything, so pretty much every conspiracy theory you can think of is true. So what
Like,
happened was the Illuminati did an experiment on him to try to open a gate to hell. And this is where the conflict comes in, is that the powers have a huge downside that when you use them, sometimes the gate stays open too long and these giant monsters come through. And that's what's going on up here. Where you see, if you scroll up a little bit, you can see
like this right
Journey,
here.
the main girl here. She's got her powers, and this giant squid has appeared. And
Okay.
that's the scene we've been showing. Is she fights this huge squid.
That's actually pretty funny. Speaking of conspiracy theories, I was actually on Twitter today talking to a few of my people about it, and they all of them brought up the whole conspiracy theory, and I think Alex Jones is probably the one spearlining it. But the shape shifting alien reptiles that have
Oh
infiltrated our
yeah.
government, like, is that in this?
If there's a conspiracy theory that's mainstream that people know about it, it's true in Super Harem. So yeah, there are reptilians.
I love a good conspiracy theory, especially one that's backed up with like evidence. Like if you can give me some evidence, some video footage or something that would
Yeah.
suggest that this theory is true, like I'm all ears. But I can't get behind the Alpha Draconian shape shifting reptilians. I can't. Like, I want to see one. Like, if you're gonna prove to me that these things exist, I want to see one just hulking out and like flipping a bus or something. That way, I'd be like, oh shit, they do exist. This is
Well, to me, the like crazier and more out there they are, the better.
really.
Like that just makes it so much more funny and interesting.
Like, I was there's a channel on YouTube called Edge of Wonder. I don't know if you heard of it, but they kind of go into some of those conspiracy theories. And one of the big ones was a list of alien races who have lived on Earth or are known to have visited Earth. And a lot of that stuff is like, no way. But then when they propose the evidence in which how this can actually be true, it kind of blows your mind, because that question is like, what if? Like, what if they're like humanoid aliens that look just like us, but they're
And,
living here on Earth, you know?
I'm open to anything. I think anything's possible. So that's why I like to listen to stuff, even something that's very far out there. I like to listen with an open mind.
Yeah, for sure. I think my favorite one is the conspiracy with the CERN super collider in Switzerland. How they're trying to open a gate to like hell and trying to summon
Yeah.
some type of like ancient demon, and like all the stuff. Even the CERN logo, if you break it down, it's like three sixes somehow. And I'm like, that's really weird that you would have a logo like that. It's pretty
Well,
obvious.
have you heard of the Mandela effect?
Oh yes, I'm a fan of the Mandela effect. I mean, half the stuff
Yes.
that I'm finding out, I'm like, was Fruit Loops fruit LOOPS or fruit FROOT? Because I remember it being fruit as in FRUIT loops. Now it's FROOT loops, and I'm like, I don't know if that was that always like that.
Well, how do you spell JC Penny?
It was JC and then Penny, PENNY, right?
Yeah, well, it's actually Ney.
No, it's not. No, don't tell
Look
me
it
that.
up.
I'm about to look it up right now. Hang on. Hang on. My whole freaking reality just bent down. JC Penny. I'm spelling it the way I know how it's spelled.
Yeah, you think that that's what it is, but not in this universe. There's an E now.
What? Hang on. Let's see how this is spelled. What? There was never an E there. No. Oh man.
There
My whole
is in Clown World.
that doesn't
That's the
even
universe.
doesn't even spell penny. It's like Penay. JC
Yeah,
Penay.
JC Penney. It's French now.
Oh man, it was another one. Well, it wasn't really much of a Mandela effect, but someone brought up the idea where tricks, like when I was a kid, tricks were always in the shape of the fruit. Now they're in this like these little ball like puffs, and I'm like, were they always like that? And someone says no, because tricks are for kids, and we're not kids anymore, so we don't see them right.
I remember them being shaped like fruit when I was a kid. I think they just changed it.
Yeah, because I would freak the fuck out if they were really like all like little spheres the whole time, because I
Yeah.
clearly remember grape being grape, bananas being bananas, and cherries being cherries and tricks. I 100% remember that. I would
They
freak
got
out.
lazy. They don't want to make them into little shapes anymore.
Oh, I did ask people about the Mandela effect, like if they were. Do you guys remember when Nelson Mandela died? And some people, yeah, said the 1980s, and I'm like, no, he died in like 2013, 2014, and they were kind of like shocked to kind of hear that, because that was right around the time like all this stuff started coming to fruition of like,
Yeah, there's a huge number of people that remember him dying in prison that he never
yeah,
got out.
because I remember hearing that somewhere too, and then I heard news that he became the president of South Africa, and then he died in like 2013, 2014. It was like, no, yeah, no, he died in 2014. So I don't know where people are getting this idea that he died earlier than that, but I it's crazy. I want to hunt down the old VHS version of The Empire Strike Back and just watch that Darth Vader moment to see if he really says, "Luke, I am your father," instead of saying, "No, I am your father." And I'm like, that's one of the biggest ones that my head exploded. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it says, "Luke, I am your father," but who
Well,
knows?
that's something else like commonly misinterpreted lines, and I like whenever commonly misinterpreted lines in songs. There was this guy at work, that song, Roxanne, you don't
Mhm.
have to put on the red light, Roxanne. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
I remember
He
that song.
swore it up and down that it says, you don't have to put on that red lace. I was like,
Really?
no, it's not lace. Red light, and he didn't know what red light meant in that context, so I had to explain it to him.
Oh, that's that's interesting. There was one more big one that it was on the tip of my tongue that I was remembered like my head exploded when I found out that that was a Mandela effect, but I can't think of it now. What kind of Mandela effects do you have in your story? I guess that would be my question.
Well, that would be something to think about, as I haven't been wrote that particular one in yet. But I'm sure that we can get that in the second part. It's going to be, unless we get all our stretch goals, it's going to be a two-parter. So
Okay.
this is part one.
Oh,
Super
that's what I was going to say.
Harem.
There's a video floating around YouTube about Jim Carrey, since Jim Carrey when he was acting in like movies The Mask and Ace Ventura and all that stuff back in the '90s, that you can honestly see that what was considered a Mandela effect, that is still considered a Mandela effect, Jim Carrey was saying these lines and changing in real time. So there's a lot of that, like to where if the Mandela effect does exist, then Jim Carrey would be the literally the epiphany of everything because he's speaking in real time as these things are changing. And you can go back and watch his movies and say, no, they said this, but now today they're saying, no, he or she said this. But Jim Carrey is the guy who was doing it, you know?
Yeah, well, that's really what made his early work so great, is that he was really good at improvising. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, he usually didn't even go by the script. Like, he just would say whatever came into his head. A lot of the really good jokes from Dumb and Dumber, like, he just said off the spot.
I agree, and a lot of the stuff from The Mask, because he did a lot of parodies in that movie itself, and a lot of referencing from famous lines and stuff like that in that movie. So it's a good one to go back and check out and just check and see if Jim Carrey is saying something, and then be like, "Oh no, that's a Mandela effect," but Jim Carrey said it, therefore it has to be true because I got it on tape. It's Jim Carrey, that guy is crazy. So, what other conspiracy theories are in your story, and can you tell me a little bit more about this Valkyrie? She protected the beach and stuff like that. What can you tell me about her?
Well, Tim's first love was Sophie. And whenever that she realized that he was giving her these powers, she took on the role of this superhero that was called the Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm.
But then when she found out that the monsters that she was fighting, that she was defending the city from, were actually being summoned by her powers, she kind of had a breakdown and left him. So Tim's been alone ever since, and he meets Journey at a drunken party, the main girl, and she's like this crazy trashy chick. And whenever they hook up in this one night stand from this drunken party, and when she realizes what's going on, she's excited about fighting these monsters. So she takes on the role of the Valkyrie, and he's kind of just stuck with her because he's got this crazy superpowered woman that won't go away.
And what are her powers? Does she fly? Super strength? What's up?
Yeah, it's like these generic Superman powers. So yeah, you fly, you're super strong, you project energy, you're very tough.
Okay.
Um,
So does
was
Tim
inter-
end up having like sex with multiple women, or is it just Valkyrie herself? Like, how do all these women end up sleeping with Tim?
we'll see what happens. So he'll be with Journey for most of this comic,
Okay.
but
Because I'm thinking like maybe he gets like a Tinder account and just kind of lets loose or something.
all you would have to say, like you just get your Tinder account and be like, "Hey, I give you superpowers," and I think you would get a lot of hits.
I don't know with the whole Me Too thing going around. He said, I don't know if that's going to work, but it's worth a shot for sure. So
Yeah, but here you can see Joe's great art. He's got a very detailed style.
It's very detailed, like the tentacles on this octopus, as well as the suction cups and stuff. That's very, very detailed. That must have taken him a minute to kind of get all the ink situated in
Yeah,
one spot.
he puts a lot into what he does for
I bet.
sure. He's a great artist and he's a great guy. I wish he was still online, but
Yeah,
unfortunately he got censored.
I'm sure he could probably create another account. They can't censor everything because I know people who have accounts and then backup accounts and then backup accounts in case, which
Yeah,
is an utter shame to be honest.
he's IP banned, so I mean he could get VPN or something, but it's hard to get around if you're just like a normie.
Yeah. This
He's
is a very interesting scene right here. That must have taken him a good minute to ink up. Wow, that's a lot of detail in this work. How did you meet him? Did you find him on Twitter, or were you guys friends prior to the project, or what?
Yeah, we have been friends on Twitter for a long time. We were both involved in Comicsgate from the beginning, so we just met through that.
All
And
right,
I've
all right.
been wanting to do a comic with him for a while, so I just picked out something. This is our mini poster you're going to get by Carlo Rowe, who's also a very brilliant artist.
Now, are these women? All of them are in there. Are they in a comic book now, or these are just generic women
Yeah, this Journey's in the front there,
right
and
here?
Sophie's on the bench,
Okay.
and Ashley's the one in the back with the umbrella. She's like won't come in until the end, so we won't know a lot about her. She's a mysterious.
It's kind of funny because if you were Tim and you were his girlfriend and you wanted to know who, if he was cheating on somebody, you would just have to look for the women with the superpowers.
Yeah, you would be able to get away with that if there was a bunch of women flying around the city.
You
Pretty
would be.
obvious
It
why.
wasn't me, really, Tim. It wasn't you.
I don't know anything about this. There must be somebody else with these
It has
powers.
to be. One is there's 100 women flying around outside. I just don't have the time of day for that. I don't. That's funny. But yeah, no, I can dig some of the artwork. What is this right here? What do you got going on over here?
This is my or like I drew the script kind of as like a storyboard. So
Okay.
this is what he's going off of. I've sent that over to him, and then he's redrawing it. So to compare, this is the same scene that we're looking at. You see, there's the squid,
Mm-hmm.
and you can really see like how he expanded it because I've only got 2 pages here, where what he has are 4 pages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see that. Like, kind of understand a little bit more what's going on. It kind of reminds me of a nice little like Nickelodeon cartoon from like Fairly Odd Parents kind of animation here. But so, were you gonna run with this before you met your artist, or you just drew this up for him to betterly understand what it is you were trying to convey?
Well, I drew this as a web comic like 10 years ago. And I've got a folder on my computer that's got just a bunch of stuff that I never really did anything with, like all these different ideas. And whenever that we decided to do a book together, I just went and looked in my folder and I was like, here's one that I think it's time has come.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I
felt
think a
like
lot of
it
us.
was the right time and place for Super Harem.
I think a lot of us have that one book sitting on the shelf where we've written down ideas for comic books like forever ago, and you pick it up and you're just like, I remember this being an actually good concept. I think I'm gonna run with this right now because I know that's me for sure. So I do like this picture though. This is pretty cool. Is this a
Yeah,
cover? This
Carl does great work. If you've ever seen Death Sword, that's him. It's a really cool comic you can get on Etsy.
okay? That's something to look into. I sent out a tweet earlier today before to see if anyone wanted to ask any questions. So I'm checking right now, see if there's any questions. But unfortunately, wait, nope. Unfortunately, there isn't anybody who caught my tweet in time. So, uh, whoops. We are going to just simply wrap this up right now. Matt, thank you for coming onto the show. It was a lot of fun meeting and talking to you about your project.
Yeah, I think that was a good short little thing. But before you wrap up, I'm do something a little off topic. But I saw you had a Pokemon Global Link on your browser there. You Nintendo guy?
Yeah, for the new Sword and Shield games.
Oh yeah, did you see the direct?
I did. I
Yeah,
did.
it looks pretty cool, man.
I
I'm excited.
I'm a little confused with it. It seems like they took a lot of the Pokemon Go raid aspects and took it into the game, which I don't know how that's going to work. If I mean, I don't want a big ass Gyarados to be honest, but um, there's a lot of questions. I mean, we had questions before about what kind of gameplay and mechanics this game was going to take. But now I got even more questions like, why are the starters growing to like 30 stories? Like, why is this a
Well,
battle mechanic?
them getting giant is like a feature. It's kind of like the Z moves or whatever. You know how you have those really cool moves you could do, or like the super evolution.
Hmm.
That's all it is. The Pokemon that you catch, they're not going to be giant all the time. You can make one giant in a battle like one time.
Yeah, I was seeing that, and I wondering like what would be the purpose of making your Pokemon like 30 stories? Like I don't. I mean, it's still a lot, but all I know is that I have three questions. One question is will there be a third legendary? Second one is are they going to introduce a new type? And the third one is are they going to introduce a new evolution in this generation?
Well, the trailer that introduced the legendaries, like they came together and then they looked like something else was coming and then it just stopped. So it was definitely hinting that there's something else.
I'm thinking like it's like someone made memes where it's like Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, and then like Pokemon Gun. So I see like a giant wolf with like a bazooka on his back or
Yeah.
something that comes out.
Probably what would make sense is like Pokemon Bow, like maybe it's like a bow and arrow.
Yeah, or like a crossbow or something. But
Yeah.
the legendaries look okay. I mean, nothing would compare to like Gen 2 legendaries like Ho-Oh and Lugia. Like those were like probably one of the best generations I like. I loved Generation 2 Pokemon games. They were great. And if they
Yeah,
remake them,
I can say I'm not that impressed with the idea of just a dog with a sword in his mouth.
yeah, like where did he get the sword? Did he carry it around? Did he sheath it? Like
Uh,
how did he eat? Did he have to put it down? Like I didn't like that aspect, but a lot of people were pretty cool with it. But the one thing that kind of bothered me was the shield legendary with the shield all the way around him. Like you have to be one heavy dog, like with that kind of shield around you, man. Like when I'm kind of disappointed they didn't release the types, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be like some type of steel type or something like that,
yeah,
or a new type that
but
they haven't announced yet.
the game looks really dope. I'm excited.
I'm excited too, and I'm liking how they're releasing the games since Sun and Moon, around Christmas time too, because that's when they usually come out with like all these cool, like packages and stuff where you can get like a, like with Sun and Moon, you got an exclusive 3DS with Sun and Moon decals on your 3DS along with the game and like the starter guide and all that stuff. So I'm excited for it because for some reason playing new Pokemon games around Christmas has become sort of like a trend. So
Yeah, it's like a tradition.
yeah.
Well, we'll have to trade friend codes and do some Pokemon trades,
For
bro.
sure. Do you play X and Y or Sun and Moon?
I've got all of them, but the one that I like the most is X and Y.
I like X and Y too, because that was like around the pinnacle of when we were dying to see Pokemon in 3D, and then we finally got it. So I love the Kalos region and all that stuff. That was. I'm thinking about playing it again because I transferred all of my Pokemon over to my Ultra Sun. I mean Ultra Moon, and so there's nothing on my Y version. So I might go ahead and just restart that and just play through it again.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Matt, it was good meeting you. We're gonna have to get a Pokemon group together and get everyone online and just play. That would be fun. So, thank you for coming on to the show. I will post your Indiegogo link for Super Harem in the description box below because it is in demand, so people can go and just pick a perk and just get it produced that way, right?
Yeah, it'll be in demand until we're ready to print, which will probably be late August.
Okay.
So you got plenty of time. We would love to for you to come and check it out and hopefully pick up a copy for $25. You get a 48-page graphic novel, and we're on our way to that stretch goal. So you're going to get more value if we get there and get to color it.
All right, sounds good. I will be sure to back it once my calendar fills out. I got a lot of stuff to do, but it is something that I want to back. That's why I had you on the show to kind of get a little bit more details about it. So once again, thank you, Matt, and I will see you on
Appreciate
Twitter.
you. See you later, buddy.
You too, man. Have a good one.
I will.
And that's all the time we have for this episode of Indie Choice Picks. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. We do episodes every Wednesday and Sunday. If you are an indie creator and you're about to launch an indie Kickstarter, Indiegogo Kickstarter, and or just getting a webcomic up on Tapas or Webtoons, please give me a shout. I want to have you guys on the show. It'll be great to interview some new people that I've never met before. So please, guys, if you like this video, share, give it a like, leave a comment, do whatever you got to do, and let's support all indie artists everywhere. I will see you next week with more great content and more interviews with more awesome and successful creative writers. So enjoy yourself. Have a good day. Bye.